everyone, this is Jasper from Witches of the Patch, and as you might imagine from me chiming in so early, we have a few trigger warnings for this episode. We will be talking about a few very unpleasant things, specifically the IRL deaths of people that are incredibly tragic in nature. We will mention suicide, depression, so while we try to keep this conversation about this topic very lighthearted and very humorous, it might not be made for everyone. So if you would prefer to not listen to that, we will not hold it against you to skip this episode. And while we're at it, we have gotten a lot of good feedback from this first episode, and I'm glad that you have enjoyed the podcast so far, even though it was such a niche topic. I have not expected people to actually, find it interesting to listen to two German nerds listen to these kinds of, very specific interests. So if you have any kind of, idea, any kind of wishes, any kind of questions, we can take questions. We will answer questions if you want that. Feel free to head them our way. We will gladly address them in the next episode. Until then, you take care and enjoy this new episode of Witches of the Patch.
This is now an ASMR.
Can you not? Can you not? Stop doing that.
Okay.
Oh, welcome to Witches of the Patch, everybody. We are having a blast right now. It's hot as fuck outside.
It's very hot. We had to, turn off the fan and close the windows to record this, so I hope you're going to appreciate this.
Yeah, especially because the topic we're talking about today is going to make specifically me suffer, because, oh my god.
We're going to talk about ghost adventures, mostly inspired by our dear friend Kari, who suggested the topic.
She has a very interesting obsession with reality shows, let's put it that way.
I think it's more like that she's interested in charlatans of all sorts.
To be fair, there are mostly charlatans in reality TV.
I mean, yeah, that's true. So we're going to talk about Ghost Adventures, and if you don't know what Ghost Adventures is a reality TV show that premiered on October 17 in 2008.
21 seasons. 20 fucking one seasons.
It's 21 seasons, 213 episodes, and there are 47 specials.
Oh my god.
And the specials are not spin-offs, because there are also spin-off series to Ghost Adventures, like the Qurentine special that has released 2020, then a serial killer ghost special, there's the Demon House film, there's a Deadly Possession about how Zak Bagans found stuff for his museum. The program follows Zachary Bagans.
Zeki Boingo.
Yeah, Aaron Goodwill, Billy Tolley, and Jay Wesley, and those are a lot less important than Zach.
Zach and the boys.
And there was also Nick Groff, who was there until season 10.
He got out before it got too much. He got out in the midway point.
He got out.
He realized, okay, this is bullshit, I'm out. So, okay, the series started as an independent film.
Yeah.
Somewhere in 2004, and then got picked up by the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah, it premiered on the Sci-Fi Channel in 2007. It was filmed in 2004, was produced in 2006, and then 2007. It was put on the Sci-Fi Channel as a documentary, and funnily enough, Ghost Adventures is not running on the Sci-Fi Channel, but on the Travel Channel. Because I guess,
I mean, I mean, to be fair, this is a series about ghost hunting.
Yeah, they
And
travel a lot, I guess.
Yeah, they travel a lot, and from the few episodes that we have watched together, there is a lot of like beauty shots of the area, of local places, and especially like the haunted places.
Yeah, the place that's haunted,
And
of course.
And let's be honest, especially in America, you have this huge culture around where people go to places.
I mean, maybe not ghost hunting, but people definitely travel to like paranormal places or places that are haunted. There are a lot of places in the US that are like tourist attractions because of their haunted status. I mean, or because there's a cryptid nearby. I mean...
Yeah, there's like Area 51, the Winchester House...
Goatman's Bridge.
Yeah. So many places. Wherever Mothman is from.
Yeah, I don't know where Mothman is from, but they have a butt statue. But we already said that Zak Bagans is kind of like... He's like the principal host of the series. Wikipedia says he's an American paranormal investigator, actor, and a television personality, and a museum operator and author. So he actually opened up a museum with like scary, spooky things.
Yeah, which is something that you seem to be very interested in, because we talked a lot about the stuff that he has in his museum.
I'm personally like, I know that there was a show, Deadly Possessions, that followed him, where he got items for his haunted museum in Las Vegas. He got some like very interesting things like Bela Lugosi's mirror, then the debug box, and that's very interesting. We're going to talk about that later, like Peggy the doll and a whole bunch of other haunted dolls. Like he has a whole room just with haunted dolls in there, 33 rooms, and then he also has like some items or memorabilia that are a little bit, I would say, sensitive or
problematic.
Questionable, because he has the van of Jack Kevorkian, who was basically like a doctor who, how do you say it, who helped people pass.
Yeah.
And this was a very like big thing that was widely discussed. Kevorkian was also criticized for that, but something that has this very tragic, dark history is now in a haunted museum. So
in a haunted museum that is put up as a spectacle, even though from what you have told me, this person was like a doctor, and what he did was he basically tried to help people pass who were in like this mindset of, I don't want to continue this anymore because I'm in so much pain. And
well, he was basically like a doctor who tried to assist people with their suicides, but the problem with that is that allegedly that he did not spend enough time with the people he was assisting. Some people allegedly died like 24 hours after they talked to him. He also allegedly didn't give people resources with other doctors, like pain doctors or something. He had at least 13 patients that did not complain about pain. 60% of his patients were not terminally ill. He failed to refer patients to specialists. 5 of the patients were not ill at all, and it is said that, or alleged that, a lot of them suffered from hypochondria and depression. In his opinion, it's like people should not be barred if they want to die. But on the other hand, of course, it is very controversial to help someone who might not be terminally ill or might not be in a lot of pain to die. So that's why basically this is so controversial and
also kind of in poor taste, because I'm sorry, why do you put something like that into a museum for other people to gawk at?
There's also like serial killer memorabilia and
doesn't he have like
Charles Manson's ashes or something?
What? I didn't even know the guy was burned.
I'm absolutely not sure if that's the case, but I think he has like the ashes of a serial killer there. I don't know.
I think from what I remember, didn't he have like some items from Natalie Wood as well?
Was that the lady who drowned?
Yeah, the lady who drowned.
Yeah, he has like a room dedicated to that.
A whole room.
Yeah.
Just for Natalie Wood.
Basically for that, and that came up in Qurentine, and that's also something that we can talk about this this later. We can talk about this later when we're done with the introduction. He had several spin-off shows like Paranormal Paparazzi.
What?
Yeah.
That is the greatest name for a ghost hunting show ever.
Then he had Ghost Adventures Aftershock. That was a revisitation of old cases. Then Paranormal Challenge. Then the Demon House film.
Oh, Demon House.
Then Ghost Adventures Serial Killer Spirits. Ghost Adventures Qurentine. And the Deadly Possessions series. And then there were like a lot of specials for the show itself.
Halloween special, Christmas special.
Mostly Halloween specials that were dealing with like especially interesting or important cases, or where they traveled into places that are different and new, and you know.
Yeah.
I think I'm very interested in like how the show actually functions, what they do on the show, and how they use like the sensationalism of the people that watch this and manipulate emotions.
Yeah, we watched a few episodes and I like dug up a few clips from the show for myself to watch, and I consider myself the kind of guy who can actually like get enjoyment out of reality TV. Like, I'm the idiot that binges Kitchen Nightmares all day, and it's also really sensationalist and makes everything into a spectacle, like every little thing. But Ghost Adventures it's oh my god. I felt really uncomfortable watching these episodes.
I mean, maybe we should talk about like how an episode works. So it's normally they go to allegedly haunted place, go investigate this place. Might also be like a haunted person. They go investigate, they run around in the dark, they get their equipment out, they show us some fancy dancing ghosts. And basically every small happening is kind of played up like, oh my god, this is concrete evidence of ghost activity. Like in the Qurentine episode, they had this glass case in the Qurentine episode, and it was obviously not correctly installed, and they basically were like, yeah, the glass case, and it fell out and shattered, and oh my god. And then they show the clip, and basically one of the glass walls falls out very slowly and bounces off on another item in the room, and it's neither spectacular, not very frightening, because it's just like, yeah, okay, this hasn't been installed very well.
Yeah, basically what they do is they go to these places that are allegedly haunted, take a person with them who basically shows them around the place and explains them the hauntings that are apparently happening
they have
at that place.
One or several people that are like familiar with the place that explain
Yeah.
what's happened. Also, they're like witnesses of the hauntings.
Yeah, and sometimes it's like people who are supposedly, I'm saying supposedly because it's reality TV and I don't buy this shit, related to the people that have died in these places.
Sometimes, yes. It can also be that it's someone who's owning the building and tells them about the dark history. That's something.
Yeah, they basically just chit-chat about it a little bit, and this is like the actual interesting part of this series because it gives a little bit of historical context for most of the places they're at, if you can trust the sources.
Yeah, which is, I think, because it's also... Oh god, there was one episode where they tried to paint someone as basically a murderer, someone who died in the late 1900s as a murderer, and people were telling them, no, there are no actual indications that this person murdered someone and buried people in the house. And they were like, yeah, but there were bones found. And then the person was like, yeah, the bones were actually a lot older though. They were like, yeah, but can it be? Is it possible that this person was a murderer? And you're already like put in that direction of, oh yeah, you're expected to believe that this historical figure was somehow connected to a terrible crime, and that's why this place is haunted.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying, where this reality TV aspect comes in. It has a very clear script, and this script has to be played out, or else...
Yeah, but I'm not sure if like all the people they're interviewing are working with a script. because...
Yeah, that's the funny thing. That's what I wanted to point out. I don't think that either, because some of the reactions that I have seen from the show are legit uncomfortable to me. Because, especially in, like, the one episode that we watched together, the one with the brewery.
With the exorcism.
And the one with the exorcism, yeah.
Okay, the brewery, and then we watched
the one with the brewery, where they went into this haunted brewery, and apparently one of the people that showed them around was the wife of a guy that has died in there. And you can clearly tell that she was still going through the motions, and being there was obviously incredibly uncomfortable and visibly suffocating her to the point that she fainted. And of course, the fact that she fainted when she came out of this building meant that she was suddenly possessed by a ghost.
Things like that, it's something that Zak Bagans loves to use.
Possessions.
Possessions, I mean, he gets possessed regularly.
Yeah!
Other people get possessed. It's always funny when he gets possessed, because it's so, like, you don't believe that shit for 1 second. But there was one episode where they actually, like, filmed an exorcism, and this is something that makes this, like, very unbelievable, because if the Catholic Church is actually, like, doing exorcisms, they are not allowed to film them.
Yeah.
Like, it is a thing that still happens, but they're not allowed to be filmed. And you can think about that what you will. I personally think it's kind of questionable. Very questionable, actually. But it gives more to the fakery if you have, like, two priests who are performing an exorcism in front of a camera. Especially when the woman they're exorcising looks like she's having, like, a panic attack or something.
Yeah. She didn't even look like I mean, I don't know what it looks like to be possessed by a demon ghost. I have yet to see that myself.
Yeah, something I actually hated about that as well was that Zak Bagans was like, oh my god, because we came here, this happened, this is all my fault, and he of course made it all about himself.
Yeah, he made it all about himself, even though there was obviously this woman who also went through something, because the context of this whole episode was that she was basically still mourning a dead ex-partner.
Yeah, her ex-husband.
Yeah.
And she was keeping his memorabilia under her bed.
And obviously she also had, like, a background of Catholic belief. So, of course, she would have, like, a panic attack when two fucking priests are in her building and a camera team that is pointing bright lights at her while they're sitting in a dark room.
Like, you don't know how much is scripted, but it still felt in poor taste to show that.
Yeah, it felt incredibly uncomfortable. It felt like I'm invading someone's privacy. And this is when these kinds of shows, in my opinion, get, like, really, really disgusting.
I mean, this is something that happens a lot in Ghost Adventures, because I personally would love to talk, like, mostly about the Qurentine special that came out in April, I think, or was filmed in April, or the premise is that because people are now very scared because of the pandemic, their negative energies are interfering with the ghosts, and that's why these haunted objects in Zak Bagans' museum are
now extra haunted.
Are now extra haunted and acting up, and basically every episode deals with a room or one of the objects. And something that happened there was they also, like, want to, I think, buy another building that's next to the museum, and they basically also talked about the hauntings there. The hauntings
that turned out to be just a homeless lady that tried to find shelter there.
Yeah, there were hauntings in this house, and people saw, like, a woman on the windows. And one of the days they were filming, there was actually a homeless woman who, like, fell down in front of the building, like, she collapsed, and they had to, like, get
an ambulance.
And this was basically also used for, oh no, so spooky, and does this have anything to do with it? Or is this beer?
Is this beer?
Is this Corona? There is a possibility that this was just a homeless woman who was seeking shelter in this empty building. But they made a whole thing out of it, and I think, like, the more interesting things we already talked about, like the supposed death van by Jack Kevorkian, which I still think is in poor taste. They also try to contact his victims.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they try to contact the people who died, and are like, yeah, we're now going to, like, find out if the people actually wanted to die or if he was, like, a ruthless murderer. And it's like,
No.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, for context, I haven't watched the special. Finn has, together with Kari. And this is not okay. This is, let's put aside the fact that we're talking about real people who have died under incredibly tragic circumstances. Why would you do that? Why would you contact ghosts just to be like, yeah, tell me about how you died?
Because it's sensationalist that gives you money, and I mean, we're talking about the same person who thought it was a good idea to milk a pandemic to put out a special of his show.
Yeah. For his own museum that he himself runs, so people go there and look at things. Wait, didn't they had to like shut down the museum because a woman fainted in there?
No, there were like several women who fainted in there, and of course this had one allegedly had to do with the death and they think like she was possessed by the ghost of one of his victims. But if you look at the footage, the way she falls down, it's really weird. And one person allegedly fainted in the haunted doll room. Like in one episode they put like the most haunted dolls that he has like all in one room to see what happens, and then there is a spooky ghost, I guess. Yeah, I mean, there's also in the one episode where in one episode they go into the serial killer room, or one of them does, and he has a Tesla coil, and he's basically like continuously touching it
because that's a sane thing to do
to get electrocuted. And it's,
what?
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's kind of funny as fuck, because he's obviously in pain, but he keeps touching it, and he's basically like, ghost, channel yourself through me with this energy that I have laid before you.
Because obviously ghosts are run by electricity.
and then it's like, yeah, and something will happen because this is electricity, and some of these serial killers were put on the electric chair. And,
what?
And then he's acting all weird, and he's like, oh, I have this anger in me, I'm possessed by a serial killer or something.
No, you were angry because you kept touching an electricity cord.
It was hilarious and stupid, and I lost my mind.
That is dedication to your job, though.
I guess, yeah. And then he walked off, and Zak Bagans was like, oh my god, I've never seen him walk off ever before. Something really terrible must have happened to him. Oh my god. Oh. And it was like, okay, I guess.
Okay, dude.
Yeah, but I think like the most funny thing is the book box.
The haunted wine box!
The haunted wine box, yeah, it's a wine box which is said to be haunted by a Dybbuk, and a Dybbuk is basically like a soul that does not let go or something. It's Jewish folklore. Basically, I think the name like really got out in 1913 when there was like a play that was called the Dybbuk.
Oh.
I'm also probably butchering the pronunciation of this, and I'm sorry.
Apologies to our Jewish fans.
Yeah, but the thing is, the word itself comes from the Hebrew verb to cling, so it's specifically a soul that clings to another. And in folkloric literature, according to Brian Dunning, there is no precedent of a Dybbuk inhabiting a box or inanimate object. Basically, originally or in folklore, it's a soul that clings to another soul and not to an object. I hope I've got this right. I put a little bit of research in it, so if I got something wrong, like, feel free to correct me in the comments.
Please, feel free to add to that, because I think that actually sounds really interesting. I didn't even know that they were like, quote-unquote, ghosts in Jewish folklore, so...
Yeah, it's a kind of spirit, but like the way they present it is that they kind of connect the Dybbuk books with the Kabbalah and with like a specific system in the Kabbalah where there's like 7 of these boxes, and if they are put together, and that's not from the Kabbalah, that's like their interpretation. There's like 7 of these boxes. If they're put together, something terrible will happen.
So they're like the crystal skulls?
Basically, and the box, the 7...
I mean, the end of the world is kind of a terrible thing that happens.
The seven Dragon Balls, the 7 Dragon Balls. Wait. the 7 debug boxes will doom us or something. And basically the box gained notoriety because a person called Kevin Menace put it on eBay in 2003. Basically, he made a story up about it, like a ghost story, a pretty complex ghost story. Someone bought it, and it then, after a while, came into the hands of Zak Bagans, and people kinda added to the lore so much that in a commentary to the show Haunt Me, Kevin Menace basically stepped in, because in the show they said they had like a debug box at a Mexico high school, and he said that the definition was false and erroneous, and the claim that the box being 7 set was a bunch of hogwash. He said he's the only one who's qualified to talk about this because he made the story up when he put the wine box on eBay in 2003. He says, the idea that debug boxes have some kind of history prior to my story, and the idea that a debug box could contain anything other than a debug, along with any deviation to the type of contents I created to be found inside of a debug box, is laughable at best.
So, you have a guy who made a wine box, I assume,
Yep.
and put it on eBay and was like, ooh, guess what? This thing is haunted. Because, yeah, I think that's a good business idea.
Yeah.
And someone bought it, and someone bought it from that person, and someone bought it from that person, and somehow it came to Zaki Bingo.
Yeah, he basically bought, he has another one, like two.
Another one?
Another,
So people also made other debug boxes.
yeah, people kind of jumped onto that, but
Oh my god.
the thing is, it's funny because like the whole ending of the show, like of the Qurentine special, basically runs on the assumption that the box is real, and that when they open it, because they make like this whole like
Shtick.
ooh, oh my god, we're going to open this box and something terrible will happen.
Yeah, and then a mimic will jump out and eat our faces.
So now they open the box and are like, oh no, and now we unleash the terrible, terrifying thing upon the world. And this is, of course, pretty laughable when the person who put this box on eBay, the person who created this box, says, yeah, I made this up. This is not real.
That is fucking hilarious, though. I want a debug box now.
It's actually it's super funny because he actually came out with it in 2015, and 5 years later, Zak Bagans is still like, no, this is absolutely real. I'm opening it, and now I'm running around with it through my museum to see if it will trigger the ghosts.
I'm gonna throw the comment of Kevin Mantis onto the screen, by the way, so you can read the full thing. And it tells you a lot about the kind of person that Zak Bagans is. And honestly, this is what it comes down to, for me at least. I don't like ghost adventures simply because Zak Bagans is a disgusting piece of shit.
I mean, the thing is, it is about the spectacle and about making money with this. And
he makes the most money out of it, you can tell.
Of course he makes the most money out of it, and of course it's like he's using these tragic happenings to make money for his advantage, and that's pretty questionable, even if people think it's entertaining. And this is this might be an unpopular opinion, but I think Ghost Adventures is fucking boring.
Yeah! Yeah, that's also really terrible. It's boring.
It is really fucking boring.
Yeah, I remember going back to that episode again about the haunted brewery. I remember when we were watching it and the guys were lurking around in the basement. Everything was dark and they had like the green thing on, like the nightlight goggles and whatnot. And they were like looking through some junk and you couldn't see like a flicker at the side of at the corner of the screen, which was obviously like not even like a shadow of a doubt. It was obviously like a laser pointer or a flashlight or something like that, because it moved so rapidly, like someone just pointing like as if you were trying to play with a cat.
But it was a ghost.
But it was a ghost. Yeah, that was literally shitting the bricks.
I mean, there's stuff like there's moths flying around, or there's
dust
like
particles.
dust particles, and oh no, it is a ghost. And you see this, and you're like,
or you have a shadow moves somewhere, a piece of fabric moves because someone brushed past it.
But I mean, that's also kind of what they want the audience to do. They kind of they're of course for the audience who believes in this, but they also get their views and their clicks, and this is kind of what we are doing right now. You're giving them attention
Yeah.
by being so ridiculous that people will get mad and that people watch more just like to be mad because people like doing that. But the thing is, I'm personally not watching a lot of Ghost Adventures because it's boring. I can't really watch a lot at a time. I could watch the Qurentine special because there was more per episode, so it was not quite as monotonous as it usually is. But oof.
I usually don't watch this kind of content because I'm just not interested in ghost hunting. I watch a few episodes of BuzzFeed Unsolved, but that's mostly because I really like the dynamic that Ryan and Shane have.
Yeah.
It feels kind of unfair to put Ghost Adventures and BuzzFeed Unsolved against each other because BuzzFeed Unsolved just works so much better simply because you have Shane there.
I mean, yeah, because you have like a dynamic, you have a straight man basically who's skeptical of what's happening, so you don't have like a bunch of yes men who like get excited about the most minuscule thing.
Yeah, and it kind of keeps the show grounded, and it also helps to put focus on the thing that I find actually the most interesting, which is the local folklore part of it. Like, one of my favorite episodes of that is like Goatman's Bridge, for example. Because you learn a lot about the bridge, actually.
I mean, the thing is also that Ryan, for example, is not a Zak Bagans. He's kind of, he doesn't take himself too seriously, even though he's very passionate about it. And with Zak Bagans, you realize he's taking himself very seriously.
Yeah, I think you can... one example when you like put these two shows against each other is also like when Zak Bagans and his boys get like a recording where you have like this radio thing where they go through several radio channels and try to find like ghosty voices. It's always something that you can't make out.
It's always something that you can't make out, yeah.
Some kind of gibberish, but it's always something cryptic and related to the situation and the story they're trying to tell. Meanwhile, the Ghoul Boys try to find a ghost voice, and the ghost apparently says apple taters to them.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
I mean, it feels a little bit more real, even though, of course, it's also scripted.
Of course.
Because you have these kind of moments, and this is something that Ghost Adventures has not. Ghost Adventures takes itself very seriously. And I guess...
I think that's also why it's so boring.
Yeah, because there's not really any fun in there. Except for when they, like, try to find an anomaly. And I love that they added this to the show. Like, this thing where they catch anomalies and it's always a stick figure and it's always dancing in some ridiculous way. Yeah, that's amazing. That's hilarious. Please more of that. Zak Bagans, if you're listening to that, please more of that. The real indicator that Zak Bagans is kind of preying on tragedy is the Demon House film, because there is a lot of like tragedy connected to that, and he basically milked that. Also his own tragedy, the fact that he had like an eye injury or that he had an illness that made his eyesight worse, and he connected it to the curse of that house.
By the way, still waiting on dying, because apparently when you watch this movie, you die.
Yeah, when was this? In 2018.
Yeah,
it's 2 years later.
Shortly after it came out, actually.
It's 2 years later. Demons, where the fuck are you? We're still waiting for you.
Yeah.
Zak Bagans, you lied to us. You said this film would kill us, okay? What are you doing?
Yeah. They haven't taken May either yet, because we found this movie through May. Yeah. Nick Spears.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nick Spears.
Yeah, kind of an indicator for how he's using tragedy to like line his own pockets. That's what it feels like, at least.
Yeah, like I said, he just kind of feels like a piece of shit.
Yeah, and that's contrary to what he says about himself in the show. Like, he says he's so nice, he's such a chill guy.
He wants to help
he's
people.
He's so empathetic, he wants to help people, he's suffering with them, but in every episode it kind of feels like that he's not really interested in these people at all. He's only interested about himself, and that's what it's fun, because there's like, he gets the debug box and runs around with it through the museum at the end of the Qurentine special, and he's kind of acting like an asshole. He's telling one of the people to touch the box, and he's rude and he's not nice. And then one of the other ghost hunters is like collapsing, and he's collapsing in the most funniest way, and like he goes on his knees first and then lies down.
Oh no, the ground! I don't want to hit my head.
He's absolutely collapsing, and Zak Bagans is sitting on his skeleton meme chair. He's not reacting to it. And then later on, they're like, "Oh my god, this was so out of character for Zak, because Zak is normally such a nice guy, and he's not acting any differently than he normally does in the show."
Yeah, he's just sitting in a weird chair.
So, yeah, okay, he's possessed, I guess. Yeah, he has, like, you know, the skeleton.
Yeah, I know. With the glowing eyes.
Yeah, the rocking chair.
Yeah. I want that chair.
He has something similar in his museum, but without. It's a normal chair, but it's skeleton. So, and
the bone throne.
I think that's another indicator that this museum is not there to teach people something or to teach them about anything.
It's just
about the tragedies. It's just for the scary fun.
It's just a guy that managed to make his really, really weird hobby into his job and is now basically just publicly jerking it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it sucks, because I think it would be okay if it was just scary fun, but you can't really connect scary fun to real human tragedies and put like memorabilia of real human tragedies in your museum. You can't,
at least not without a historic or like emotional context.
Without the context, yeah. I think it's pretty insensitive to go around and say, "Oh yeah, we talked to one of the victims' ghosts," or "Oh my god, we talked to the ghost of this murderer," because that's... But I mean, a lot of ghost hunting shows work like this.
Yeah, I mean, even BuzzFeed Unsolved.
Even BuzzFeed Unsolved to some degree, but I think in BuzzFeed Unsolved they have like more of a distance towards...
They try to keep it at a distance,
They try to keep
at least they're not invading people's privacy.
Yeah, they're more sensitive about it. And they basically give like the facts of what happened and what allegedly happened there, and they don't try to like make it any more spooky or to make it more sensationalist, even though this kind of ghost hunting shows will always be a little bit sensationalist and a little bit insensitive towards the tragedies and atrocities that have happened in these places.
Also because ghosts.
Ghosts.
Yeah. Do you believe in ghosts?
Yeah, kind of. I'm not sure, like maybe. I mean, we could make an episode about like paranormal activity or something. Not
Yes! Yes! The most boring thing ever! Oh no, nothing happens for like 2 hours.
Not the film, because I would have a lot of things to say, and I kind of believe in ghosts, yes. But there's still like a skeptical part in me, and there's also part of me that thinks most of these things can be explained in a rational manner.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on that page too. I believe that there are things that we can't explain with science.
Yes.
I think yet. And that there are things that just go beyond human capabilities, let's put it that way. I don't know if these things are ghosts. I don't know if these things are whatever powers. Mm-hmm. What I do believe in, though, is not using dead people and their loved ones that have been left behind and are obviously still mourning these loved ones, which I can relate to because you never stop mourning.
You never stop mourning, that's true.
Especially when the passing happened through a tragic circumstance. Mm-hmm. You don't benefit from that, neither personally nor financially.
Yeah, that's something that I also think should be a no-go, but the show still exists.
Yeah. It will keep going.
It will keep going, probably...
until Zak Bagans
maybe there will be a new season of Qurentine soon. Depends on how much longer we have to sit through this beer thing.
We're just referring to it as beer now.
There will probably like another season, another general season. It will not stop as long as the people who are in it benefit from it. And I mean, Zak Bagans obviously benefits a lot from it. Look at all the spin-off material and
yeah.
Shit. So
funnily enough, I still am like, go check it out, but make it in a way that Zak Bagans can't benefit from it.
Make it in a way that he can't benefit.
What YouTube re-uploads?
And probably watch the more recent seasons because they're a little bit more entertaining in my opinion. Watch the Qurentine special, that's okay, and you get the gist gist of it if you want to watch it. And if you like the show, more power to you.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm just not very into it. And
I'm not into it either.
Yeah.
But if you enjoy it, really no hard feelings, because everyone has the right to enjoy what they enjoy.
Okay, I think we said our piece now. So this was like another more negative episode, more critical towards the subject we are talking about.
Also, we gotta hit a lot of trigger warnings in the beginning.
I mean, yeah, we also had like basically do the same with the other video, because we're talking about sensitive subjects, but the next episode will probably be about something we like.
Yeah, something that we have a lot of emotions for.
Something,
at least I do.
Yeah, some things that we feel passionate about, something that's nicer, something that we like, something that's also interesting to explore. So you can look forward to a more positive episode, and tell us if you like us riffing or raving about people we don't like. That's also important feedback.
Yeah, or just give us recommendations. Like, give us ideas.
Yeah,
give us your feedback.
Give us recommendations. What would you like us to talk about? We hope you will stay safe, stay healthy.
Yeah, keep your mask on.
Keep your mask on. Don't let the current situation get to you. Do whatever you can to be safe. And have a good day, night, afternoon, whatever time you're listening to this right now. And bye-bye.
Bye!